In this WrestleTalk news, is Triple H back running NXT? Cody Rhodes says he's going to be back to WWE sooner than expected, and an update on injury status for Rhea Ripley and a bunch of AEW stars. Plus, Ollie's going to be here reviewing AEW Dynamite, so subscribe and enable notifications to always on for daily wrestling news videos.
Support WrestleTalk!
Now, do you remember last year when WWE released a load of NXT performers? They also got rid of a load of the backstage crew responsible for the black and gold era, and they changed the entire show to be 2.0. Well, you may also remember that was all done while NXT dad Triple H was off recovering from a cardiac event. And like dad coming home from work to find that you've turned the garage, his most precious of spaces, into a clubhouse, Trips is back, and surely he's just a little bit pissed. Because John Pollock of Post Wrestling is reporting that Triple H spoke as part of a meeting at the WWE Performance Center yesterday, specifically using the phrase, "I'm back." Now, obviously the phrase is open to interpretation, but people are speculating that it's his way of signaling a return to a prominent role in NXT. Because Triple H has already announced his return to his other corporate duties, but has not had any involvement in NXT since handing his executive producer position over to Shawn Michaels while he was off ill. Now, Brian Alvarez also confirmed the visit on Wrestling Observer Live, adding that Trips also mentioned that he was there for business reasons, and he couldn't say why yet. But anyway, if you are back, welcome back, Dad. Hope you like all the new kids we adopted while you were gone. All the kids we had before, we just sort of let them go off into the world like they were Pokemon trainers. Next in, of course he does news, Cody Rhodes is confident he'll be back from injury far sooner than the projected timeline. Now, Rhodes put on one of the craziest performances of recent wrestling history at Hell in a Cell, where he took on Seth Rollins with a torn pec, looking like Violet Beauregard halfway through her gum-induced inflation for most of the match. Now, it was announced during the following week that Rhodes would need surgery and would be out of action for 9 months, but Cody doesn't reckon he's going to be out for all of that time, writing on his latest Instagram story, "I've heard 9 months, that's their plan. I've never concerned myself with other people's projections. I've got a plan of my own. Let's finish, all of us." My reckoning is he's eyeing 7 months to be back in time for the Rumble, because of course you'd want to be back in time for the Rumble. Think of the pop, Cody. Think of the pop. Continuing on the injury track, Rhea Ripley was announced as injured on Raw, having to drop out of her championship match against Bianca Belair at Money in the Bank. Now, Rhea clarified what's ailing her on Instagram when someone posted, "You don't look injured," on one of her posts, saying, "Brain/teeth, can't see a brain injury." Brain/teeth, can't see. Sounds like a great D&D monster to me. Here's wishing Rhea a speedy recovery. Also in need of some well-wishing are AEW stars Buddy Matthews and The Bunny, because Matthews announced via Instagram that he is dealing with a shoulder injury but slowly increasing weight during his workouts and recovering, while The Bunny answered a fan question stating that she is injured right now. Here's hoping you both get better soon. Hot tag to Ollie.
Now it's time for my review of AEW Dynamite. In about 5 minutes, it's the Go Home Show, which started off super hot, building the Forbidden Door pay-per-view by Bryan Danielson announcing he's not medically cleared to wrestle on the show, oh god damn it. Thankfully, he made sure to say this isn't a career-threatening injury like the one that forced him to retire 6 years ago, and he said his replacement to wrestle Zack Sabre Jr. at the pay-per-view and for Blood and Guts the following Wednesday will be the newest member of the Blackpool Combat Club. The only person he trusts to take his place and be technically awesome, and we'll have to tune in Sunday to find out who it is. Not revealing it right away, got a smattering of boos from the crowd, but I want everything now. But as Danielson acknowledged, he still walks out the heel tunnel. It was a decent debut tease for the pay-per-view, one which might prove an effective draw, with the most obvious wrestler being Cesaro. Zack Sabre Jr. then walked out and started yelling for the camera to cut to the next segment. Probably for the best, as Zack Sabre Jr. would have said some naughty words. But that has been one of the major flaws in Forbidden Door's build. Dynamite not effectively explaining who these New Japan wrestlers are. It also felt weird not having Moxley and Regal by Danielson's side, as this was as much a Combat Club announcement as a Bryan one. United Empire's Will Ospreay and Aussie Open then took on Best Friends' Roppongi Vice and Orange Cassidy in a really fun 6-man tag. Ospreay's and Cassidy's interactions provided some tantalizing glimpses of the pay-per-view's potential show stealer, and Orange pinned Fletcher to win, finishing in a big multi-man stare down with FTR and the Best Friends against United Empire. Jay Lethal requested Samoa Joe vacate the ROH TV title because of his injury, another AEW star who's unfortunately out of the Dream Card pay-per-view. Cementing his heel turn, Christian then came out wearing a turtleneck. Boo! And had the best segment on the entire show, not building Forbidden Door at all. He explained that he turned on Jungle Boy last week because JB eliminated him from the Casino Battle Royal last year. He was never here to help elevate younger talent, he's here to cash checks. And if you've got a problem with that you're not paid as much money as Christian, cough, cough, MJF, cough, maybe you should try changing professional wrestling by having a match so good they named a pay-per-view after it. I don't know if the yearly TLC pay-per-view is something you want to take credit for, Christian. Although that stairs match was good. Throughout all this, Christian expertly kept the Milwaukee crowd simmering with cheap local hometown heat. Him and Edge really do love doing that. But while it felt like that kind of heel act never really fit Edge's recent gimmick, it was incredibly effective for Christian here, especially when he then took it into overdrive. After Shivani replayed Christian telling Jungle Boy's mum she raised a piece of S-word at the end of last week's show, Christian got mega heat, saying he was just giving her the chance to apologize to him for giving birth to Jungle Boy, and that she seemed a little sad when he walked off because he thinks she wanted him to be Jungle Boy's new daddy, but Jungle Boy already has a dad. And not only is he dead, he'd be disappointed in JB for being so crap. This brought out Luchasaurus to choke the life out of Christian. In some excellent heel character work, Christian begged off, saying, "Remember what happened to Marco Stunt?" Posing the question, what did happen to Marco Stunt? Where is that guy? Is Christian kayfabe alleging Jungle Boy got rid of him? This seemed to be the magic dino word. As Luchasaurus backed off, Christian hugged him, and they went to talk about this in the car. Christian and this storyline has suddenly shot to my favorite thing in all of wrestling right now. The Young Bucks said they're back in Bullet Club for just one night at the pay-per-view, which means tagging with El Phantasmo and Hikuleo against one of the lamer random faction names ever devised. The Dudes with Attitude, comprised of Darby Allin, Sting, Takahashi, and Takagi. Again, it feels like Forbidden Door has been booked with a random number generator instead of actual dream matches. Speaking of dream matches, Forbidden Door kind of ruined one of AEW's own. Though they have wrestled before, the result of Pentagon Jr. versus Malachi Black was ruined here by interpromotional politics. Despite some slapping back and forth action, Black had to win because New Japan won't let Penta wrestle their guys because of his AAA connections. Black will join Pac, Miro, and Ishii in the All-Atlantic 4-way match, which Miro will win to then fight God. Wardlow called out an injured Scorpio Sky for his TNT title again. This is a major momentum block, feuding with someone who can't currently wrestle, and even worse, he said that Wardlow's World thing again. Who thinks that is a good line? Hangman Page got a decent win over his former Ring of Honor rival Silas Young, who wasn't just Butcher changing his hair. I love Silas Young, but he unfortunately couldn't make the crowd believe he would beat Hangman like Takeshita did last month. As always, a video promo introducing him here would have helped tremendously. Jay White interrupted Adam Cole's post-match promo, Bay Bay, where he said his opponent won't be either guy, and by the end of the night, we found out it will actually be both guys, and an Okada. Believe me, I popped huge for Okada's debut in AEW. Hearing the money drop was damn near orgasmic, and his lingering stare down with Hangman was electric. But this is how Okada debuts in AEW on the Go Home show to set up a 4-way, dressed like he's going to paint my spare room on a bank holiday. And this story makes the champion White, who's been boasting how he controls who he faces, how he's the catalyst of professional wrestling, look like an idiot. The only catalyst function it feels like he's providing is transitional champion. It'll be a 4-way between Hangman, White, Cole, and Okada this Sunday. Why would White let that happen? Chris Statlander is showing more charisma every week, mocking Stokely Hathaway's call out for a new baddie. Toni Storm beat Marina Shafir, who had Nyla Rose in her corner. Thunder Rosa evened the odds in the post-match scuffle, leading to another Thunderstorm stare down. This, unfortunately, still feels underwhelming, and the main event was full of star power. Moxley, Tanahashi, Jericho, with Lance Archer to take the pin. Mox pretty much won with a paradigm shift, but tagged in Tanahashi to get the High Fly Flow win. A fine match, but it did feel a bit house showy, not the final segment of the Go Home show for the pay-per-view, because that spot was saved for a comical WCW visual to close the show. The locker room emptied of variously feuding New Japan and AEW stars to brawl, including Eddie Kingston and Minoru Suzuki, while Tanahashi and Moxley awkwardly stared at each other in the ring for ages. What did you think of AEW Dynamite? Let me know in the comments. Maybe in an alternative everyone isn't injured timeline, there's that dream New Japan AEW card. Unfortunately, through a potent mix of everyone being injured and non-optimal booking, this ain't it. Forbidden Door feels thrown together with not one first choice dream singles match on there. And the best thing on this episode, Christian's promo, had nothing to do with it. This week's Dynamite is 75%.
In this WrestleTalk news, the backstage WWE environment after investigation into Vince McMahon, more law firms investigating the company, more conflicting reports on Sasha Banks being released from WWE or not, and more.